Sustainable Development Goals and community service, demonstrating its important role as an agent of change in realizing sustainable development. Universitas Negeri Malang currently has 3 campuses, Malang Campus, Campus 2, and Campus 3. Universitas Negeri Malang remains faithful to its intellectual and cultural heritage, with various facilities and curricula that support the maximization of potential within it. It also plays an important role in achieving global sustainable development goals by providing excellent and quality education and learning. As an educational institution, Universitas Negeri Malang views education as a universal right that must be accessible to all individuals, regardless of social, academic, or geographical background. As part of this commitment, Universitas Negeri Malang continuously strives to improve campus accessibility by providing disability-friendly facilities and developing services that facilitate student learning processes in various fields. Universitas Negeri Malang has also collaborated with many companies in providing educational services, offering various scholarship programs that cover different levels of need and talent. Every service provided by Universitas Negeri Malang can be experienced by every student and is continuously developed to support the entire educational process in each faculty. Faculty of Education. As the oldest faculty at Universitas Negeri Malang, the Faculty of Education has 6 departments that are ready to produce professional teachers in their fields. Faculty of Social Science sets the standard in learning, research, and communication services, both nationally and internationally. Faculty of Letters. The Faculty of Letters has 5 departments that will produce graduates who are experts in both language and art. Faculty of Mathematics and Science has 4 departments consisting of 10 undergraduate study programs, 8 master's study programs, and 4 doctoral study programs. Faculty of Economics and Businesses. Having 3 departments, the Faculty of Economics and Businesses strongly emphasizes quality education and training, innovative research, quality publications, and a synergistic learning system. Faculty of Engineering, focusing on the study of technological advancements in the fields of engineering, research, and application. This faculty aims to produce graduates who are instructors, researchers, entrepreneurs, and professional experts. Faculty of Sports Science. As the only sports faculty in the city, it has a mission to lead in providing higher education services by opening 4 departments that will develop knowledge and technology in the field of health and sports education. Faculty of Psychology is a faculty that has 2 study programs, bachelor's degree in psychology and master's degree in educational psychology. Faculty of Medicine. The Faculty of Medicine offers programs in medicine, nursing, and midwifery. In a warm environment, students are introduced to various aspects of medical education. Faculty of Vocational. The goal of the Faculty of Vocational is to maximize the development and service of vocational learning, producing applied bachelors. School of Postgraduate Studies. The School of Postgraduate Studies at Universitas Negeri Malang offers opportunities for students to develop knowledge and skills in various fields of education. As a result of these commitments, Universitas Negeri Malang has earned the title of Best University, achieving the first rank in the Skimago Institutions rankings for education field in Indonesia. By continuing this commitment, Universitas Negeri Malang hopes to create inclusive and equitable education for all and become an agent of change that empowers individuals from diverse backgrounds to reach their full potential. Universitas Negeri Malang has demonstrated a strong awareness of the importance of environmental sustainability. With a determination to reduce its environmental footprint, UM adopts various environmentally friendly practices throughout the campus. UM also actively organizes environmental awareness programs for students and the surrounding community, enhancing understanding of the importance of environmental preservation and motivating real action. Because UM will continue to be a place where ideas are discovered and implemented to create positive change in local and global communities. UM
excellent in learning innovation.
datang di Departemen Kimia FMIPA Universitas Negeri Malang. Departemen Kimia FMIPA UM merupakan pusat keunggulan akademik dan penelitian di bidang ilmu kimia yang telah berdiri kokoh sebagai bagian penting dari perkembangan sains di Indonesia. Departemen Kimia FMIPA UM secara resmi didirikan pada tahun 1965 sebagai bagian dari Fakultas Keguruan Ilmu Eksakta atau FKIE. Departemen Kimia FMIPA UM menyelenggarakan program studi yang dirancang untuk menjawab kebutuhan zaman dan perkembangan ilmu kimia. Program-program studi tersebut meliputi program studi kimia S1, program studi pendidikan kimia S1, program magister pendidikan kimia S2, program magister kimia S2, program studi doktor S3. Untuk mendukung proses pembelajaran dan penelitian, Departemen Kimia FMIPA UM menyediakan fasilitas yang lengkap dan modern, meliputi laboratorium sentral mineral dan material maju, laboratorium terpadu. Dengan dukungan ini, mahasiswa dan peneliti mampu menghasilkan karya ilmiah dan inovasi bernilai tinggi yang berkontribusi pada kemajuan bangsa dan negara. Departemen Kimia FMIPA UM terus mencatatkan berbagai prestasi yang membanggakan di tingkat nasional maupun internasional. Mahasiswa dan dosen dari departemen ini secara konsisten meraih penghargaan di kompetisi ilmiah, seperti Lomba Karya Tulis, Olimpiade Kimia, hingga penelitian inovatif di bidang material, lingkungan, dan pendidikan kimia. Kehidupan mahasiswa di Departemen Kimia FMIPA UM tidak hanya berfokus pada kegiatan akademik, tetapi juga diwarnai oleh berbagai aktivitas non-akademik.
Departemen Kimia UM adalah tempat terbaik untuk menggali potensi diri Anda dalam bidang ilmu kimia dan pendidikannya. Dengan kurikulum berbasis riset, fasilitas yang modern, dan dukungan dosen dan SDM yang berpengalaman, lulusan FMIPA UM siap menjadi agen perubahan untuk menghadapi tantangan global. Mari bergabung dengan Departemen Kimia FMIPA UM. Let's ring the molecules to arrange a better world.
di Departemen Kimia, FMIPA, Universitas Negeri Malang. Departemen Kimia FMIPA UM merupakan pusat keunggulan akademik dan penelitian di bidang ilmu kimia yang telah berdiri kokoh sebagai bagian penting dari perkembangan sains di Indonesia. Departemen Kimia FMIPA UM secara resmi didirikan pada tahun 1965 sebagai bagian dari Fakultas Keguruan Ilmu Eksakta atau FKIE. Departemen Kimia FMIPA UM menyelenggarakan program studi yang dirancang untuk menjawab kebutuhan zaman dan perkembangan ilmu kimia. Program-program studi tersebut meliputi program studi kimia S1, program studi pendidikan kimia S1, program magister pendidikan kimia S2, program magister kimia S2, program studi doktor S3. Untuk mendukung proses pembelajaran dan penelitian, Departemen Kimia FMIPA UM menyediakan fasilitas yang lengkap dan modern, meliputi Laboratorium Sentral Mineral dan Material Maju, Laboratorium Terpadu. Dengan dukungan ini, mahasiswa dan peneliti mampu menghasilkan karya ilmiah dan inovasi bernilai tinggi yang berkontribusi pada kemajuan bangsa dan negara. Departemen Kimia FMIPA UM terus mencatatkan berbagai prestasi yang membanggakan di tingkat nasional maupun internasional. Mahasiswa dan dosen dari departemen ini secara konsisten meraih penghargaan di kompetisi ilmiah, seperti Lomba Karya Tulis, Olimpiade Kimia, hingga penelitian inovatif di bidang material, lingkungan, dan pendidikan kimia. Kehidupan mahasiswa di Departemen Kimia FMIPA UM tidak hanya berfokus pada kegiatan akademik, tetapi juga diwarnai oleh berbagai aktivitas non-akademik.
Departemen Kimia UM adalah tempat terbaik untuk menggali potensi diri Anda dalam bidang ilmu kimia dan pendidikannya. Dengan kurikulum berbasis riset, fasilitas yang modern, dan dukungan dosen dan SDM yang berpengalaman, lulusan FMIPA UM siap menjadi agen perubahan untuk menghadapi tantangan global. Mari bergabung dengan Departemen Kimia FMIPA UM. Let's ring the molecules to ring a better world.
Universitas Negeri Malang, Profesor Dr. Haryono MPD, the Honorable Secretary of Universitas Negeri Malang, Profesor Dr. Iwayan Dasna, the Chairman of ICSChem 2025, Dr. Rerum Naturalium Ubed Sonai FA MSI, our distinguished keynote speakers, moderators, respected committee members, and dear participants joining on-site and online. Good morning and welcome to the second International Conference of Sustainable Chemistry 2025. First of all, allow me to introduce myself. My name is First Lady, and today it is my great honor to serve you as your Master of Ceremony throughout this conference day. And before we begin, a brief announcement for online participants. The Zoom meeting ID and passcode have been shared throughout the official WhatsApp group. And please ensure your microphones remain muted except when you are invited to speak. Please kindly rename yourself following the given format for attendance documentation. To begin this meaningful occasion, let us take a moment to express our gratitude and reflection. We shall now have the opening prayer that will be led by Dr. Ridwan Joharmawan. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated and bow your head respectfully. To Dr. Ridwan Joharmawan, the time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bapak Ibu, marilah kita berdoa, bermunajat kepada Allah SWT agar acara seminar internasional ICSChem bisa berjalan dengan lancar. Berikutnya, marilah kita mendoakan para perintis Universitas Negeri Malang, jurusan kimia yang telah mendahului kita. Semoga arwah beliau ditempatkan di tempat yang mulia di sisi Allah SWT. Kepada keluarga besar Universitas Negeri Malang dan juga kimia yang sedang sakit, marilah kita doakan. Semoga segera sehat, bisa beraktivitas seperti sedia kala. Dan tidak lupa, marilah kita berdoa, semoga Universitas Negeri Malang di usia yang ke-71 bisa memberi manfaat dan berdampak bagi kehidupan negara bangsa tercinta ini. Marilah kita bermunajat kepada Allah Subhanahu wa taala. A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalam ala asrofil anbiya'i wal mursalin. Nabiyyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Ya Allah, the Almighty and the most praiseworthy, we glorify your name. We offer praise only to you. We are grateful for your pleasures. Ya Allah, please allow us to gather in this place in order to carry out International Conference on Sustainable Chemistry, ICSChem, year 20 and 25, FMIPA UM, with all sincerity and humility, bowing our head to express gratitude and pray to your presence. Ya Allah, what we do is an attempt to fulfill your command to study knowledge in order to improve ourselves toward wisdom. Therefore, please give us knowledge and wisdom. Ya Allah, the most benevolent, help us, strengthen us, and save our hearts to follow this conference. Instill patience in us. Lay our hearts and our minds in receiving the abundance of knowledge. Ya Allah, we are fully aware that the science we gain from this conference will be no more than a drop of the ocean of your sacred science. So please, Ya Allah, remove us from the arrogant, selfish, and uninformed. Ya Allah, the most merciful, forgive our sins and mistakes. Forgive the sins of both our parents. Have mercy on them as they love us as a child. Ya Allah, please forgive us, our teachers' mistakes and errors. Elevate the degree of science and the wisdom of our teachers so that our generation can take the advantages of it. Ya Allah, grant our prayers. Only to you we worship, and only to you we ask for help. Rabbana hablana min azwajina wa dhurriyyatina qurrata a'yun waj'alna lil muttaqina imama. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzabannar. Wa subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Wassalamun alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ridwan Jormawan, for your leading us in prayer. As for now, to honor this beloved country, let us rise for Indonesian national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, let us rise and stand tall, proud as we sing Indonesia Raya. Thank you. Please be seated. To formally open today's program, we will now hear a welcoming speech from the chairman of ICSChem 2025. Dr. Rerum Naturalium Ubetsonai FA MSI is one of the key figures behind this conference and a dedicated academic in the Department of Chemistry, Universitas Negeri Malang. Let's give him a warm round of applause.
Excellencies, Director of Universitas Negeri Malang, Professor Dr. Haryono, the Vice Rector of Universitas Negeri Malang, Professor Iwayan Dasna, the Head of Chemistry Department, Universitas Negeri Malang, all the keynote speakers, invited speakers, presenters, and all participants, and not but not least, the sponsors. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is truly a great honor and pleasure for me, on behalf of the organizing committee, to welcome all of you in the second of International Conference on Sustainable Chemistry, hosted by Chemistry Department, Universitas Negeri Malang. This year, we are delighted to have more than 200 participants joining us, representing 6 countries, including Indonesia, Malaysia, Japan, United States of America, and Abu Dhabi. Your presence here show us shared commitment to advancing chemistry for a more sustainable future. The theme of this year's conference, Innovative Chemical Approach for Sustainable Future, remind us that chemistry plays a central role in shaping our greener world, from the cleaner productions, from renewable catalysis, and environmental protections. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we will enjoy 5 keynote lectures and more than 90 speakers and countless opportunities to discuss ideas, share knowledge, and build collaboration. I'd like to take a moment to sincerely thank you to the keynote speakers, presenters, and all participants for contributing your valuable time and expertise. And of course, my deepest appreciation goes to the organizing committees, volunteers, and sponsors, whose hard work and dedications have made this event possible. I hope this conference will inspire you, open new collaboration, and strengthen our effort to use chemistry as a force of sustainability. We again thank you very much, and I wish you an enjoyable and fruitful conference. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ubed, for your encouraging and inspiring message that beautifully sets the tone for today's conference. Today, we are deeply honored by the presence of Director of Universitas Negeri Malang, Professor Dr. Haryono, who will now deliver his opening remarks and officially inaugurate the conference. Please welcome him with a warm round of applause.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. This morning I'm very happy because the subject which I don't like in senior high school gave me chemistry. I have a bad experience about how I learn the chemistry, but after I learn history, I know that chemistry is very important in life. So I very regret why I lazy learn chemistry when I teenager. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a perspective. So recently in my community, chemistry not the first object of science, but the second science, because the first object science is physics, then chemistry, then biology, and then the fourth is social sciences or humanities. Then, in our social perspective, there are many perspectives about chemistry, like culture chemistry, social chemistry, until political chemistry. I just gave informed by our friend Prof. Hadinur that chemistry is focused on process. So the result is differ if the different process. Like in history, our friend from Malaysia as Melayu feel differ from Philippines and feel differ from Indonesia. Why? Because Philippines more long time influenced by Spain and then United States, US by English, and Indonesia by the Dutch. So the chemistry of our nation is very deeper. Also, my race as Melayu is same. It is maybe wrong based on your perspective, but based on my perspective, I would like if the next year maybe this thema in this international conference not only focus in the material chemistry, but also can make collaboration with the other subject from psychology, from medicine, or maybe from social too. So chemistry will be spread not only for natural sciences, but also for social sciences. And then the chemistry will be universal perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the entire academic community of Universitas Negeri Malang, it is my great pleasure and honor to welcome all of you to the second international conference on sustainable chemistry. We are deeply grateful for your presence, whether you have joined us here in Malang or from across the globe. The shared knowledge, skill, research, and idea on one of the most pressing challenges of our time, building a sustainable future through chemistry. This conference stands as a testament to our collective commitment to advancing science that serves humanity and the planet. Chemistry, as we know, lays at the heart of sustainable innovation. From developing green country, material and sustainable energy technologies to creating cleaner industrial process and circular economy. The discussion that will unfold over one day, not merely academic, they are part of global movement to align scientific progress with environmental responsibility and social welfare. But as institution, Universitas Negeri Malang continue to strengthen its role as a center of excellence in education, research, and community service. We believe that sustainability begins with collaboration across discipline, across nation, and across generation. It is through events like this what we nurture global partnership and inspire young scientists to pursue research that will make a meaningful difference. I would like to express my deepest appreciation to the Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences, in which our friend, the Dean of MIPA, came to this room, the Department of Chemistry, Mr. Eri, and the organizing committee and the sponsor for their dedication and hard work in making this conference possible. My gratitude also extends to our distinguished keynote speaker from many countries. Thanks a lot for your coming, and all presenters who have generously contributed their time and expertise. May this conference be a fruitful platform for knowledge exchange, collaboration, and innovation. Let us continue to work together, make collaboration toward a more sustainable, greener, healthier maybe, and equitable world through the transformative power of chemistry. Thank a lot for your attention. I wish all participants a very successful and inspiring conference. Akhirul kalam, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Professor, for your infallible words of wisdom and for officially opening this international conference. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now have a short photo session with our distinguished guests, keynote speaker, and committee members. As for now, before we move forward to the keynote speaker, we would like to invite Director of Universitas Negeri Malang, Professor Dr. Haryono MPD, and the Chairman of ICSChem 2025, Dr. Rerum Naturalium Ubed Sonai, and also the Dean of Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Science, and then all keynote speakers, university officials, and the representative of the committee. Please come forward to take pictures together. All right, shall we count? 3, 2, 1. Smile. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right. Shall we take pictures with the participants, ma'am and sir? Yes. We can face the screen, and later the photographer will take photo from there. Yes. Okay. To all dear participants, you may stand up because we will take pictures together with the distinguished guests. I'm sorry, because we cannot take picture. It's too close. You may go, yeah, behind the table, please. Yes. Yes, it's fine to stand up. Yes. To all dear participants, please get closer to the middle. Once again, to all dear participants, you can come closer to the middle. All right, shall we count? 1, 2, 3. Smile. All right, now with C. Our universities, yes. 1, 2, 3. Smile. All right. Please be seated. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin with our keynote sessions, I would like to briefly share some important conference rules and the guidelines to ensure our event runs smoothly for everyone, both on-site and online. As for plenary session, the first rule, each keynote speaker will have 50 minutes, consisting of 40 minutes for presentation and 10 minutes for discussion. Second, please keep your microphones muted throughout the session unless you are invited to speak. Third, for online participants, if you would like to ask a question, please type "ask" followed by your name, institution, and question in the chat box. Fourth, offline participants may raise their hand, and the moderator will select and read the questions. Fifth, all participants must attend at least 2 plenary sessions and 1 parallel session to qualify for a certification. As for the parallel sessions later in this afternoon, please ensure your Zoom ID follows the required format. This is for the online participants. And for the invited speakers, we'll have 30 minutes, while other presenters will have 10 minutes total, including discussion. Moderators will provide time reminders and ensure equal opportunities for all. And last, attendance links will be shared in the chat room, so please make sure to fill them in during session. Finally, a gentle reminder that the Best Presenter Awards will be announced at the end of the conference. And the deadline for full paper submission is on 13 November 2025 through your conference account. Thank you very much for your kind attention and cooperation. With that, let us now proceed to our first keynote session. Ladies and gentlemen, we now begin our first keynote session. It is my pleasure to welcome our first keynote speaker, Professor Ali Demirsi, PhD, from the Pennsylvania State University, USA. This session will be moderated by Professor Soeharti, a chemistry lecturer and the head of the Biochemistry Research Group, Department of Chemistry, Universitas Negeri Malang. Please welcome Professor Suharti to introduce our speaker and lead the session.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm sorry for another keynote speakers. We take the first because Prof. Demirci at this time about 12 hours difference, so it's about bedtime. So we take the first. I'm sorry for that. I think he's already online. Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's an hour to introduce for the keynote speakers for the first keynote speakers today, Professor Ali Demirci from the Department of Agricultural and Biological Engineering at the Pennsylvania State University. We call it Penn State. Professor Demirci is the distinguished scientist whose work greatly advanced in the field of microbial engineering and bioprocess. Next, please. Professor Demirci earned his PhD in food science and technology. Sorry, I will take my glasses first. Okay. Professor Demirci earned his PhD in food science and technology and chemical engineering from Iowa State University in 1992, and his bachelor's degree in food engineering from the Middle East Technical University in Turkey in 1987. His strong academic foundation led to the groundwork of his outstanding career today. Next, please. He currently serves as a professor in the Department of Agricultural and Biological Engineering at Penn State, and also as the head of CSL Behring Fermentation Facility. Over the years, he has also taken leadership roles, including served as academic chair for the Intercollege Master of Professional Studies in Renewable Energy and Sustainable System at University Park, Pennsylvania. Next, please. Professor Demirci Ada's expertise includes microbiological engineering, bioconversion of agricultural material and waste into value-added products, design of innovation bioreactors, and scale-up of fermentation technologies. His work also addresses on microbial control, on food safety innovation, this all reflecting his commitment to both sustainability and public health. Next, please. His remarkable achievements have earned his numerous awards, such as the Young Engineer of the Year Award, the Outstanding Associate Editor Awards, and most recently, the International Food Engineering Award from the American Society of Agricultural and Biotechnology Engineering in 2025. Professor Demirci has published extensively in leading journals. In some of them, of course, he has a lot of publication. His study explored microbial inactivation, usage pulse, UV light, biofilm bioreactor design, and valorization of fermentation feedstock. These contribute have made significant impact on both the academic and industrial communities. He also a prolific author and editor. His recent books include Food Safety Engineering, published by Springer, and several key chapters in the book of Bioreactor Scale-Up and Microbial Inactivation Technologies. This work continues to serve an essential reference for the modern bioprocess engineering. In summary, Professor Ali Demirci work bridges between innovation, and applied sustainability and applied biotechnology. And we honor to have him here as our one of our lecturers today. And please join with me again and warm welcome Prof. Ali Demirci. I think he's already joined with us when the conference was open. Okay, without further ado, Prof. Demirci, you have 50 time in total, and that means, sorry, my online was lost. Okay, welcome to Prof. Demirci, and the time is yours, Prof. Demirci. Let's start, and we'll have about maybe 40 minutes talk, and we have about 5 to 10 minutes question and answer. Please welcome Prof. Ali Demirci to the talk today. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Salamat pagi. I know it is morning there. It is almost midnight here. Some reason I'm hearing myself. Is there anything you can do to fix this? If not, I'll do my best. Yeah. Let me share my screen. I'm not able to share my screen. Can somebody authorize me? Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right. Okay, well, again, thank you first of all inviting me and joining this prestigious conference that you are putting together from thousands of miles away. I wish I am there, but this is a technology at least makes me able to join to this great conference and share some of our studies and some information with you all. Well, actually, Professor Suharti gave me a great introduction about my background. I got my undergrad degree in food engineering and PhD in food science and technology and minor in chemical engineering at Iowa State University. I've been at Penn State for 26 years, and during those times, I promoted from assistant to associate and then the professor in 2009. And in terms of my research, I work in microbiological engineering, but basically two different legs. One of them is growing the microorganisms to produce value-added products, and the other is just opposite, inactivating them, especially for food safety purposes. So in that line, I teach several undergraduate and graduate courses. And in terms of my administration responsibility, I am the currently graduate program director, and also I was the academic program chair of the online master's program in renewable energy and sustainability systems. And I'm also in charge of the CSL bearing fermentation facility. I'll be showing some pictures from that facility at the end of my talk. But today, I'm not going to talk about food safety research that we've been doing in my lab. Instead, I wanted to share our experience and knowledge on the fermentation side. I thought it is more appropriate for this conference. As you know, we use fermentation to produce a lot of chemicals. They can be used as antibiotics, organic acids, biofuels, enzymes, anything you like to produce. That's why we use these bioreactors to produce it. But the challenge is always there is a room for improvement to reduce the cost. And we can do that by designing novel bioreactors and reducing cost of substrate, especially by using the agricultural or industrial waste. Of course, there is a lot of room improvements for the downstream processing as well. So basically the reactors consist of a cylindrical vessel with all the bells and whistles that include heating, cooling, agitation, aeration, pH controls, and etc. So it is like a greenhouse for plant, but this is for microorganisms. So basically, we design these bioreactors and optimize them for the best production. So in order to choose what kind of system we have several options. Of course, they are all called stirred tank reactors. They are equipped with pH, temperature, agitation, dissolved oxygen, antifoam, and pressure controllers. They have also blades to generate turbulence, and we can use those blades based on the sensitivity of microorganisms. Sensitive ones, they don't like the high shear stress. So during aeration and agitation, a lot of foam is generated. So we can use anti-foam agents to get rid of the foams, or we can use also mechanical anti-foam brakes. So process is not a single step actually. It starts from the for example, this is the schematic of a penicillin production. It starts from the cell, lyophilized cell. We grow them in the shake flask, and then we do a series of purifermenters to increase the size of the inoculum. And then we can have the main reactor. You can include additional feedstock, and you can run this reactor at their optimum conditions. These are the conditions for Penicillium cruisergenum for penicillin production. After that, you of course send it to the downstream processing to separate and purify the product. In order to do any kind of fermentation, rule of thumb is to use the raw material, cheap ones as much as possible. And also we need to optimize the media so that we can produce high level of products. So we can also optimize the growth conditions such as pH, temperature, aeration, agitation. Then we need to think about different types of reactor designs. So that can help us to eliminate the nutrient limitation, such as fat batch or continuous reactors. Or we can do simultaneous separation and fermentation together to remove the toxic metabolites. And also, we need to think about how we can increase the biomass population in the bioreactor to enhance the fermentation performance. So in this talk, I'm going to be talking mostly about today the biomass population enhancement. So once the reactor is optimized in terms of media and operation, we need to think about scale up as well. Because in order to produce the product at larger scales, scale up must be studied in the pilot size reactors to find out what parameter is the scale up strategy. So we can do the same scale up strategy for the larger reactors. So scale up process is complex, and oxygen transfer rate may be limited, especially if it's an aerobic microorganism. So one needs to study all different aspects of oxygen mass transfers, fluid dynamics, mixing, thermodynamics, etc., to have a successful scale-up process. So after the fermentation is done, of course, we need to do downstream processing to recover the product and purify it. Depending on the type of the product we produce, we choose the best recovery method. Sometimes we need to combine several of them together. One is not enough, so you have to try distillation or crystallization or extraction, depending on the product. So I always say downstream processing is a bottleneck. Fermentation is one step, but downstream can be many, many steps involved. So therefore, it is expensive process. Each of the process needs to be chosen carefully and optimized in terms of the capital cost and operational cost. So, but we are going to focus on the upstream during my talk, and specifically how we can increase the biomass in bioreactors. In order to increase the biomass, we need to think about several different designs. We can use cell recycle bioreactors. This is basically you circulate the fermentation broth through a filtration or centrifugation unit, and you are returning the cells back to the reactor, and filtrate can be left from the reactor where your product is. But your cells are accumulated in the reactor. We can also use hollow fiber reactors. So basically, you can fill up the shell side of the hollow fiber with very concentrated of microorganisms, and this time you are circulating the fermentation media broth. So it can rotate like this. Every time when it rotates back to the reactor, the microorganisms here in the shell consume the substrate and produce the product. So we can increase the concentration of microorganism in the hollow fiber at very high level. That's possible. So we can also do cell immobilization. Those of you working in enzymes will understand this very closely, because we can also immobilize the enzymes the same way. We can mix the cells with alginate solution, and then you drop by adding calcium chloride solution. Then the cells are incorporated into the gels, beads. So we can sort those beads out and then use it in bioreactors by retaining them if we do repeated batch fermentation or continuous fermentation. These are all good, but they are expensive processes. We cannot really afford to use them in high commercial scales. It's good for lab scale, we can do and publish papers, but none of them find application in the real industrial size. Therefore, we need to really think about passive immobilization, which makes us to do biofilm reactors. So if you think about when you are seeing a river or lake, there is a rock or stone in the water. It may encourage the growth of algae on the stone, right? So this biofilm is exactly like that. We can create a solid surface in the bioreactor. Cells make a community, grow it as a community here, and makes the biofilm. And some of the cells detach, some of them continue to stay, make a thick layer of the biofilms in the bioreactor for us. That's what we did. During this biofilm formation, it starts with adhesion through the some weak forces like van der Waals forces by producing some of the EPS, extracellular polysaccharide production. Then the cells continue to grow by using the nutrients and of course with the right temperature and pH. And then some of them detach. Actually, this is a good thing, so you don't want to overgrow the biofilm in the bioreactor. So it is a very dynamic, very consistent population that we can get in the bioreactors. So actually, in nature or in the health industry, we don't want biofilm. Like you don't want biofilm in your teeth for dental or implants. It creates infections. In food or industrial application, biofilms create a lot of fouling in pipes, pumps, and heat exchangers. And in food processing, it creates a lot of safety issues. So it is not very desirable actually. But I always give an analogy of a knife. Knife can be used for bad purposes, like including killing someone, or we can use the knife in the kitchen to cut vegetable, meat, and make all those great Indonesian food that you eat, right? So therefore, we like to look at the things positively to make advantage of for our use. We can use biofilms for bioreactors to produce value-added products. Actually, wastewater treatment has been using biofilms over 100 years. They call it trickling filter reactors to treat the wastewater. So we can use biofilm actually for bioremediation purposes as well. So we published a book several years ago. We said the title is Biofilms in Food Environment. So if you look at the different chapters in this book, you can see all the positive and negative aspects of biofilm. Why is it important in many different applications? And I was the co-editor of that book. So basically, if we use biofilm reactors, we can get high biomass density in reactor, increase the production rates, reuse of the cell without cell recycle, and since this biofilms stay in the reactor, so we don't need to re-inoculate in repeated batch fermentation, and for continuous fermentation, at high dilution rate, washout is significantly delayed. So we can run at much higher dilution rate for continuous fermentation. And also this gives an operation stability. If there are some changes happening, like failing in pH or suddenly increase or decrease temperature, biofilm protect the cells during that harsh conditions. So how do you create the biofilm? We can use fixed bed or expanded bed. So a fixed bed can be trickling filters, rotating discs, and membrane biofilm. Expanded bed, fluidized, moving bed, and airlift and circulating bed. So basically, you want to start with the best biofilm support particles. We have to make sure that this support particle is, or support surface is, good industrial adhesion, microbial adhesion. So surface charge, roughness, porosity, everything, and also it should give you the high specific area. And it should be high mechanical resistance and great availability and cost effectiveness. So in our lab, actually, I started working on this when I was at Iowa State many years ago. We call it plastic composite support. So we produce this support by adding 50% polypropylene and with different ratios of some agricultural products, soybean hull, soybean flour, and dried bovine albumin, even yeast extract. So we can change this composition so that we can create the good combination for the microorganisms that we are using in our bioreactors. So basically, we mix them and then extrude it through a high temperature extruder, and this is what we produced. And these are like a tube, hollow tube, like a pipette, and then you cut them in certain lengths, and we put them around a shaft in a grid fashion system. So now as the shaft is agitating for the propeller, this also agitates the reactor itself, and it stays in the bioreactor in dynamic fashion. So after the fermentation, you can see we can get a lot of cells growing in this plastic supports on the reactor. So this gives us a lot of microbial population that we cannot normally get in suspended cell systems. So in our lab, we use this for many, many different applications. So for example, antimicrobials. One of the antimicrobial we used was niacin. As you know, niacin is a 34 amino acid polypeptide. It has an antibacterial activity, very effective, and most importantly, it has a GRAS status. It means that we can use in food and other human use as well. So basically, lysine break down the affect the membrane and cell wall, and they inhibit the growth of the microorganism. So in terms of application, lysine is non-toxic and heat stable, meaning that you can even use in dairy products. They can survive in pasteurization temperatures. It has no color and flavor. We can use for a lot of food and other applications so that we can curb the pathogenic microorganisms for food safety. So we use our bioreactors by using this PCS composite supports. And then we not only for the biofilm reactor, but also doing some other optimization media and also the pH adjustments and etc. We constantly increase the production of lysine. So this was the initial level. As we do with the biofilm reactor, more and more optimization, as you can see, we keep continually increasing, enhancing the production. And lastly, since lysine is degrading in the reactors after certain times, so we wanted to recover it before it degraded. So it gives us the productivity much, much higher when you do online recovery as it is being produced in the bioreactor. So another antibiotic we work is the lysozyme. Lysozyme, as you know, is a natural compound, and it has a lot of high toxicity without any high toxicity, even in high doses. As you know, lysozyme is actually present in our tears or mother's milk, in saliva. So this is a very good antimicrobial that it degrades the peptidoglycan layer in the cell wall. Therefore, they lyse the cells if they break the cell wall. So in food industry, it is used for many different foods, especially for the baby food, because when the mothers stop milking, stop giving their milk to the babies, they put the babies in formula. And mother's milk has lysozyme, and formula doesn't have it. So therefore, if we can produce this lysozyme in bioreactors, we can add to the baby food, and they can continue to have a good immune system developed with the help of this antimicrobial agent. So in cheese, for example, also they are using the cheese, making the lysozyme with to prevent some of the pathogenic microorganism. And in the pharmaceutical industry, they use in eye drop, wound healing creams, some moisturizing, and even it inhibits the growth of HIV virus. So in our research, by using the biofilm reactors, we increase the production of it in suspended cell, 110, all the way to the 187 unit per milliliter when we use the fat batch fermentation. We also use the continuous fermentation by using biofilm. As you can see, production looks like it drop in terms of concentration, but if you convert them into the productivity, meaning production rate, it still gives us much better productivity than the other batch or fat batch fermentations. As you can see, we can increase the productivity to 7.5 unit per milliliter per hour. All these are possible, as you can see, almost 3 times more production with the help of the biofilm and also with the help of some other optimizations we have done in the bioreactors. The last example I would like to give today is the vitamin K production. Well, as we know, vitamin K is one of the fat-soluble vitamins, and it comes with a lot of animal products, and also it comes with some of the green vegetables. And more importantly, it comes from a fermented food that is commonly used in Japan called natto. So we can produce this basically vitamin K by using the microorganisms. So in what happens if you don't have the enough vitamin K? We can develop some hemorrhages, right? When you bleed, your blood doesn't stop if you don't have enough vitamin K. And also vitamin K is proven to serve as anti-tumor, and it helps us our heart health. And also, if you take it regularly, it reduces the osteoporosis risk. So lately, vitamin K, especially MK7 version of it, helped the recovery of the COVID-19 patients much more faster than the others. So, but the problem is a pure kilogram of vitamin K is $3.5 million. It is much expensive than maybe any gold or jewelry you think of it. So therefore, we need to do something to improve the production and cut this cost. So why it is so expensive? Because vitamin K is produced by microorganism under unagitated fermentation. It means that you produce them on the trays. Since you do a tray fermentation, we cannot really do the scale up to the high volumes. So we are limited only as big as the size of the trays that we can use. Therefore, we think about using biofilm reactors for producing the vitamin K. So this is the static fermentation level of vitamin K production is about 32 milligram per liter. So if you shake this, if you agitate it, production drop to very, very low level, as you can see, less than 5. So therefore, we need to produce this in the form of the biofilm. That's why our biofilm reactor that we developed in the lab did the job that we can do this under agitated conditions in bioreactors, but still maintain the biofilm formation on the PCS supports. That's why it really worked very well to produce the vitamin K. We also use different media like glycerol base, glucose base, and finally we did the fat batch fermentation by using the glucose media. And you can see we were able to reach almost the same level of the static fermentation level. Then you might ask yourself or ask me why you are so happy you don't even make it much better than the static fermentation. But as I said earlier, static fermentation has to be done on trays, and we cannot really scale this up at high level. However, now this is done in biofilm reactor under agitated conditions, meaning that we can make the reactor size as big as we want. It can be 100,000 liter, it can be a million liter, then we can get the same performance. So we did lately scale up study in pilot reactors in our fermentation facility. We were able to get the same productivity with certain scale-up criteria that we developed. So basically, we can now produce the vitamin K at large quantities in large media. So university is trying to secure a patent as we speak. Hopefully, industry will pick this up and produce vitamin K now by using this method, and it will end up to reduce the cost. Of course, the consumers will be able to get this vitamin hopefully at much more affordable rates. So these are the several examples that I would like to share with you today because of the limited time I have. But we did work on this biofilm reactors, many other applications, organic acids, ethanol for biofuel, some enzymes, cellulase enzyme, pullulan, it's another polysaccharide. So all these repeatedly show us very good productivity compared to the suspended cell. So I would like to show a few pictures about my lab. So I have a fermentation lab that we have 5 or 6, almost a dozen of small bioreactors that we can use to optimize the any kind of fermentation process we like. And also in our building, we have a pilot fermentation facility. In this facility, we can have 30-liter reactors. We have 50-liter, 100-liter, and large one, or these are the benchtop ones, 5-liter bioreactors. And these are different pictures. And a couple years ago, we were able to obtain this 500-liter bioreactor. That is very good for the some mid-scale production for the industrial purposes. So this facility basically available for any researchers at the university, internal or external users. Other universities come and use this facility as well as some small or mid-size or startup companies. Because this reactor, 500-liter, it costs $1 million to buy. Therefore, if you are a small startup company, you don't want to invest $1 million to do several studies. So you can come here, do your scale-up studies, and also maybe produce enough product to do your market test, or if you are doing another trials like field trials or any other production, you can make those possible by just paying the fee and the material that we use. So therefore, this facility is really very useful for us to do it. So I'm going to stop here and see if anyone has any question. Do we have any question from the audience or online? Well, can everyone still see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So since I have some time, I would like to show you a video that talk about this fermentation facility that we have. Is the voice coming through?
Yes.
Okay,
Hear
good.
your voice. I can hear your voice.
Yeah. And this is actually my building. It is actually a brand new building. We moved in 2018, the back side, but the front side is 80 years old, so it was renovated. And this was the building that I work in. And this facility is part of this building.
It's been really exciting that the new CSL bearing fermentation facility was built earlier this summer. A lot of people are really excited and they want to get involved with learning fermentation and downstream equipment. And this is really giving them that opportunity to do that.
I decided to go into the field of industrial biotechnology because I'm really driven to kind of provide solutions that help people live happier and healthier lives, to really have that direct impact on people.
So that's saying that once you inject your sample, it'll take you through the loop and then take it to the crop.
Not all that long ago, people with rare diseases had very limited treatment options. That's changed in large part because of innovation in biotech to produce medicines that didn't exist before. For CSL Behring, this represents an opportunity for us to support our talent pipeline that will bring some of Penn State's brightest minds to our efforts in developing life-saving medicines.
Penn State students will have an incredible advantage because they will be using the same exact equipment that we at CSL Behring use at our leading-edge manufacturing sites around the world. That kind of experience is unique and invaluable to the growing biotech industry in Pennsylvania and beyond.
A lot of labs that I've worked in the past, stories that students will have is working with older equipment, they're rigging things up or trying to make things work as they're going through. But here, everything is state of the art. And I'm really excited as students come in. I want to have them use some of the new equipment we've got and some of the analytical capabilities that we have. And when they say, oh, I've learned about this in class, but I never really used it, but now I see what it is and I've actually gotten to run it. It's a really good feeling to be able to see that they understand what they're doing and they actually can do it on their own.
Many of the students who worked here for a year or two have gone on to some pretty amazing companies and pretty amazing jobs. And so now that this process is becoming formalized, it's with a sense that we are launching and we're sending them out on their way to a good career with prominent companies.
It's just such a great work environment here. Everyone is super fun to work with, super easy, and they're teaching me so much. So it's really been a great experience for me.
Penn State is a world-class public research university, and CSL Behring is a global biotechnology leader and a large employer in Pennsylvania. We both believe in the power of science to improve and save people's lives in all corners of the world. For our industry as a whole, this facility will give students the education needed to enter our dynamic and rapidly growing field.
So this was a video from the fermentation facility we have. You heard actually CEO of a company called CSL Behring. That's why the name of the facility is called CSL Behring. So when our building was renewed, the facility was part of the building, but room is new, but equipment was old. That's why I wanted to highlight this a little bit in my presentation today. So this brings really the university-industry collaboration and relationship. So it's a model, first of all, for many, many universities and industry partners should be. So what the CSL Behring did, so CSL Behring is a pharmaceutical company. It's a global company. They have facilities, production, manufacturing facilities, many, many different countries, Australia, Switzerland, Germany, and US. And they produce a lot of pharmaceutical products. So basically, they donated to university $5 million. So with that money, we were able to renew all our equipment so that our students can go and use this equipment not only for research purposes, but also we use this equipment for the teaching labs. And we provide this facility for doing some small research, or we have some of them work or as a 6 months or 1 year internship. So basically, or it's a graduate student research, they come and use this facility to do their research. So basically, we use this facility for teaching purposes, learning purposes, and we have some teaching labs that we do. And also we do some industrial fermentation workshop right in this facility that we can train the current workforce working in the industry. So this is a great example of how an industry can help the universities. They shouldn't expect universities needs to come up with this all the equipment that we use in the facilities. Of course, you might say, well, we need to write proposals. We need to write grant. But no grant can give $1 million to just buy one equipment like that. So therefore, industry needs to step up, help the universities to enhance the facilities if they want a workforce that they really want to be seeing when they hire our graduates. So therefore, I encourage the companies, industry in Indonesia to do the same thing to help your university or another university that they choose to bring up the collaboration and to prepare the future workforce development. I would like to also say, since I have maybe 5 more minutes, just a couple pictures from the university. So this is the website of Penn State, and we celebrated basically 170 years now. It was 2005 when it was 150 anniversary. So we have 24 campuses around the state, and we are the main campus. So university was established in 1855, and this was the early years pictures. This is the our president's office. Over the years, it changed dramatically, and new buildings, old buildings, they are all together. And this is my building that I was talking a few minutes ago. And this is where I work. And also, it is a fun point to end this presentation. We have the fourth largest stadium in the world. This is just an American football. It's not even soccer, right? This is the American football. It attracts 107,000 people to watch, not a professional team, only the university team is playing here. So think about it. So this stadium is full of 100,000, over 100,000 people for every game that college team plays in this field. So with that, I would like to end my presentation, and if there is any question, I'll be more than happy to answer. Thank you for your attention. Professor Suharti, I think you are muted. I can see your microphone is muted.
Okay, I'm sorry. Are you hearing me? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, any question, Pak Ubed, please? One question from the chairman of the conference.
Yeah, thank you for the nice presentation, Professor Damirci. Well, I'm really curious about the relationship between the industry and your research group. What I'm understood that you are making the biofilm, and then you buy or you purchased the reactors and use it as it is, or did you develop it developed by the engineer, and then the reactor has to be so, and the reactor has to be like that you want. How do you develop the reactors and also the biofilm that really suited to the system that you wanted? Thank you.
Yeah. That's a great question. First of all, we don't buy the ready biofilm reactor. There is nothing available out there. So basically, we use our regular bioreactor, which is designed for suspended cell. We retrofit that to produce biofilm in those suspended cell reactors. So all we do is choose the best PCS support. Of course, we use the one that is best for certain microorganism. And then you install that PCS in the shaft, as I described in my presentation. So basically, we convert suspended cell reactor into a biofilm reactor by adding this PCS support in the reactor. So it's very easy to make, basically, as long as you have the PCS support.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Maybe from the online audience, is there any question? Please, you can ask the question at the chat room. You can question anything.
Okay.
Oh, yes, okay.
Okay, good morning, sir, and thank you for with your presentation. My name is Mada. I'm one of the master student in chemistry in University of Malang. Okay, I want to ask you about the biofilm itself. Like you said before that there are like several disadvantages about the biofilm, and how we can decrease the disadvantage that so we can meet the industry demand about production that choose and low cost but the most quality product. So how to decrease the disadvantage in the most efficient way. So that's it, my question. Thank you.
All right, great question. Well, as a scientist or engineer, we look at the nature and learn from the nature to develop some technology, right? People look at the birds and develop the airplane, right? So you learn from the nature and come up with that. So actually, biofilm in the nature is a bad thing, like dental health or fouling in the pipes. So those are not wanted. So, but we want them actually in our bioreactors because you want them to improve the population in the bioreactor. So therefore, you bring a negative things into a positive approach. That's what I gave an example of the knife. You can use the knife to hurt someone, or you can use the knife to cut something for making food. So therefore, we need to always look, even though it may have a bad anecdote in nature, but how you can make it valuable for your production. This is exactly a great example of that analogy, the biofilm reactors. I hope this answers your question.
Oh, okay, sir. So all I think is like it like nice, right? Like how we use it, like efficiently, like we use it for good or bad, like that the biofilm use it.
Yeah.
But
Well, of course, in bioreactor, it is a good application, but you need to, of course, know what plastic support you need. This one kind is not good for every microorganisms. You have to match because you add the ingredients in this plastic support to promote the formation of the biofilm for that specific microorganism. Not every microorganism is capable of making biofilm. So you have to search, screen. Many of our studies start with screening of the biofilm properties of our target microorganism and choose the best PCS support to promote the growth of the biofilm. So then you can continue to optimize the media or other growth parameters to improve the fermentation process. Later, you can think about how I can make this better by doing fat batch or continuous fermentation. Again, this is all the increments of the research so that you can come up with a final recommendation, what media you need, what optimum conditions you need, and also what types of bioreactors, mode of operation you need. So it is really several years of research to come up with that answer.
okay, thank you for your answer, sir. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, I think. Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Hello, Prof. Ali, can you hear me? I'm sorry, there is trouble in microphone. There is
Yep, I can
question,
hear you.
There is one question on chat room. Maybe you can read it by yourself, or should I read it?
Okay, the question is how we can optimize the fermentation media effectively. Of course, you need to do some experimental research. That's why you need small size bioreactors. You cannot do optimization by using pilot size reactor, first of all. You should have a liter or 2 liter size bioreactors so that you can do various fermentation run by using not much media. So how do you optimize it? Actually, statistics is our tool. You can do optimization by trying one parameter at a time, but you have to run 100 different runs to figure that out. Therefore, statistics is very good tool for us, I recommend everyone to learn statistics and experimental designs of that. So those experimental designs not only help you which ingredient is uh, significant, like Black and Burma technique, or after that you can do surface design methodology to optimize what the right concentration. So in our research, we always use statistical experimental design to evaluate several factors to optimize media and also optimize the growth conditions like agitation, aeration, pH, temperature, etc. So the answer is use the statistics knowledge that you learn in your statistic classes.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Ali. I think that's the answer. Optimization is one thing, and sometimes it gives headache about that. And then statistic is the most powerful tools to design the experiment and improve the fermentation process, is also the result. And is there any question, any more question? No, from the audience here? Prof. Ali, one is very interesting is how very good the bridging between university and industry, how does those industry from all over the world donate such amount of money to create a facility that serve for the students, as also the collaboration between between university and industry. So how long has that been work for the TSL fermentation facility since this birth for the first time?
Well, this facility was renewed about 2018, so it's been 7 years old. But you don't expect the big, maybe donation sometimes from the companies. It may start with small. I work with many industrial companies at smaller scale. Like I have an idea, research idea. I know they are interested with that. I approach them and ask them to support a student research. So they may give $10,000, $20,000, but it takes it a long way for a student to work on their specific problems. So therefore, you don't wait until the big values you need to expect from industry. It may start from small scale. So anything you work within industry to solve their problems, I think there's a hope for industry-university relationships.
Okay, thank you. That's very good example for maybe UM here for learning how to bridge the university with the industry and making the research more meaningful for the future. I think is there any other question? I think there is no question, and we thank you very much for your very nice lecture today. And I miss State College, and maybe someday I would like to visit again Penn State. And I miss also your wife. Send my regards to Anne, and hope all healthy. Thank you.
Inshallah, we spent so many years together. Hopefully you'll come again, or I'll go there too. Don't think only you come.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that you can come visit here when you're visiting Indonesia. Inform us, and you'd like to be here to give a lecture to our students.
Inshallah. Thank you so much for inviting me, being part of this great conference. And I thank all the organizers to put together such a great program. And I wish the big success and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Okay, before leaving the conference, we would like to present our, can you give the screen for the certificate, please? We would like to present the certificate of appreciation as the keynote speaker, that we hope the knowledge you share with us will give meaningful for our student and all our audience in this conference. Thank you very much, Prof. Ali.
Thank you so much.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you very much, Professor Suharti, for leading our session today. And for now, before we move to the next agenda, we would like to extend our gratitude to our dear sponsors, such as, first, Wiralab Andika Subsindo, second, PT ITS Science Indonesia, third, CV Yaklu, and the last is PT Era Mitra Pradana. Once again, thank you to our sponsors for supporting this event. And to our dear keynote speakers and all presenters, we would like to invite you to have coffee break first before we move to the next keynote speaker. And you can find the coffee break outside of this hall. And later at 9:25, we would like you to come back to continue to the second session. Once again, for all the keynote speakers and offline presenters, we would like to invite you to have coffee break outside of the hall. Thank you. And we would like you to come back at 9:25. Untuk para mahasiswa dari Universitas Negeri Malang yang bukan presenter, dimohon untuk tetap duduk karena coffee break yang disiapkan hanya untuk para presenter offline. Untuk kepada para tamu dari sponsor, dipersilakan untuk mengambil waktu untuk coffee break. Terima kasih.